Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Gamma Film Podcast episode. So, as in my last Gamera podcast episode, I did Gamera Super Monster from 1980, and yeah, that was my last Shona Gamera podcast episode. It, and yeah, so I'm glad I got the Shona era done. And so now it's on to the HEISEI of the era. And yeah, my reference is terrible. Yeah, that was a I sing from the theme song. So yeah, this episode is going to be the Gamera Heisei trilogy from 1995 to 96 and to 1999. That's right. For the first time on my channel is a triple episode. Yeah, talk about all three films in one. That's something I never done before. And we have a special guest here for tonight, and he's been on my show before on Godzilla against Mechagodzilla back in 2023. Please welcome back to KaijuNoir.
Hey everyone, it is great to be back here on Brandon's channel.
Yeah, thank you, and long time no see. I'm glad to have you back.
Absolutely. It is really great to be here, just being able to talk about a set of three really awesome, amazing films that truly do stand the test of time, looking at these films again after all this time.
Yeah, and yeah, it's been like 3 years since I have you on my show, but I'm glad to bring you back, and because I haven't had some of my old guests in a while, but yeah, I thought it's nice to bring some of the old guests back, and
Totally, nothing wrong about that.
yeah, and I'm definitely looking forward to this episode, and man, I've done my homework for this episode, aka I done my research and study about the Gamera Heisei trilogy. Yeah, but I got my figures right here, and I am looking forward to this one. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, this is my first episode doing a triple feature. Talk about all three films in one. Yeah, before that, I was gonna do them separate, but hey, why not do them? Why do all three in one?
Absolutely. Especially when they really do go great together as you said, as a trilogy. You basically have one continuous story, each film building off of the last one as a basis. It really truly feels like an ongoing story as opposed to the Heisei Godzilla series, where each Godzilla film is pretty standalone for the most part, with maybe a few references here and there as like lip service or like fan service. But when it came to the Gamera series, they truly did sort of like went all out to craft an original story that, in my opinion, still has not been topped 30 years later. I mean, even looking at the Netflix Gamera Rebirth series, Gamera Rebirth owes a lot to the 90s trilogy itself. Ancient civilization, ancient bioweapons, young casts growing a very mystical, pseudo-scientific attachment to the titular giant monster. All of it you can feel carries that the DNA of Kaneko's vision of Gamera.
Yeah, wish I never seen Gamera Rebirth before, and
Okay.
yeah, but who knows? Maybe I'll make an episode of that one someday in the future.
Sure, I don't see why not. I mean, I'd say personally speaking, um, I liked Rebirth well enough, but it just feels like diet Heisei Gamera trilogy, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and And then, and before we get to the whole trilogy, I want to bring up the backstory of before the trilogy, and I am writing down my notes to make each chapter of what of which chapter you guys want to watch. Either talking about the first, second, and third. Yes, yeah. So I'm writing down my notes and of the time limit, if you know what I mean.
Sure
If
thing.
you're watching this video, if you want to get to the if you want to get to the part where we talked about the first or second film, like Guardians and Attack of Legion, don't forget to click on the chapter clips to the which section you want to watch. Kind of like a scene selection. Yeah. So let's get to the story part.
Mhm.
And so yeah, so I want to talk about the a backstory about Gamera Super Monster that was made in 1980. I know I did talk about this in my previous episode of Gamera Super Monster. I mean this the film didn't go well at the box office, and because it was this film is more like a stock footage clip film,
Mhm.
and I forgot the name of the creator of Gamera is yeah, but
Oh,
he
yes,
after
the main, like, producer of those films, right?
yeah, that he after this film, he thought that he would give Gamera another rest, like a few years rest, and but then after that film, I mean, Godzilla has started to come back to is coming back to theaters again, but this time in a new era. When I meant coming back to theaters, I meant starting making films again
Mhm.
after 9 years of Terror of Mechagodzilla. It, I mean, I know his first Heisei film was The Return of Godzilla. That's like the new birth of Heisei era. Because the Heisei era, it really began in the middle 80s. And yeah, because usually they say the Heisei was around in the 90s, but no, it started somewhere in the middle 80s. Yeah, that's all
Mhm.
because of the return of Godzilla. And then after it was Godzilla versus Biollante, and the, and Godzilla started become a hit again and starting to get some attention, uh, but when I know that Daiei who made the Gamera films, they're they went bankruptcy back then, they're out of business, but later uh, they thought they want to bring back Gamera again to get some Gamera attention. I don't know if this is true. Like I said, I did my research, but what I
Mhm.
hear they're gonna make a film called Gamera versus Gara Shark.
Oh, you mean the one with the giant snake?
Yeah, with
From what I understand, I could be wrong here, but I could have sworn that, like, I know a lot of people think about that movie as that was the film that never got made, or it was a canceled film that was planned sometime after Zigra or after Super Monster. But I believe it was never meant to be a movie. I think that was supposed to be just a presentation that was made at a certain point, and then they just made a special about the presentation. So I don't think it was meant to be a full blown giant a full blown movie at that point. But I do know that a lot of people are like have often wondered or speculated as to the nature of that project.
yeah. But in fact, instead we get this little footage, like a little camera diorama prop
Right.
thing is like a little animatronic
Right, and
figure.
as well as some storyboards of generally what the story was gonna be, or what the story is if those storyboards was the meant to be the final result.
Yeah, and yeah, wish I don't know much the rest of that story is, but the yeah, I know they dropped that project down and they trying to figure out other ideas to bring Gamera back, but they s- but they decided to hold off Gamera because of the Godzilla Heisei films coming out, like
Right.
Biollante, King Ghidorah, and
I,
Mothra, Mechagodzilla, Space Godzilla,
yeah.
Destroyer.
I do know that Gamera did make an unofficial appearance in an anime project that Evangelion creator Hideaki Anno created with his friends. They created the opening animation called Daikon 3 for a big otaku convention back in the day in 1981, and then made a larger version called Daikon 4 in 1983. And there are a lot of copyrighted characters in these two animations. There's everything from Godzilla, Gundam, Star Wars, War of the Worlds, what was it? Conan the Barbarian, Batman, every single fictional character you can imagine from Japan and America were involved or make cameo appearances in Daikon 3 and 4, and Gamera did make an appearance in those two projects. So he was still definitely a pop culture icon, at least for the sort of like nerds and geeks of Japan at the time, who were growing up in the 80s and starting to create their own projects in the Japanese entertainment industry. So he certainly was not forgotten. He had a place in pop culture history, but I'd say by the 90s, by the mid 90s, we definitely got to a point where Gamera's relevancy, you could argue, was at a it was in desperate need of a fresh coat of paint, per se.
Hmm. And, interesting. I did not know this. I'm glad you shared that information, Andres. And we have a guest in the comments here. Say hello to Lore
Yes,
Flickin. Hmm.
Laura Fitkin, that's a very close friend of mine.
Hmm.
Thank you very much for bringing that up, Laura. Yes, he did. A baby Gamera did appear in specifically in around the time in Dragon Ball during Master Roshi's first appearance, and yeah, Gamera would make appearances sporadically. I believe he also made a cameo appearance in a chapter of Doctor Slump. Both Dr. Slump and Dragon Ball were created by Akira Toriyama, who was a very big Godzilla fan, a big kaiju fan. So the both of his most popular manga of all time had references to the genre.
Wow. And it's interesting. And and let me just say it about more about the backstory, as I was mentioned earlier about how they put Gamera aside for now. I mean during that time in the ear in the early 90s, Gamera has started to get some attention in North America. Like Gamera is starting they're starting to release some VHS copies of Gamma in North America by kids. That's the VHS company who is
Oh yeah,
that
I grew up
that
with those VHSs.
yeah, and with the Sandy Frank dubs and
Hmm.
yeah, they those were like the first VHS of Gamma for North America and it and then people are starting interested in not many people are getting some attention for Gamma during that time in America, but some of them did try to get some people interested in the giant turtle. Especially I think around at the same time as the VHS were released, that Mystery Science Theater 3000 did manage to get the rights to Gamera to make some episodes and for some of these VHS classics like the first Gamera, Baragon, Gauss, and Giron and Zigra.
Yes, pretty much they did the whole Showa series, with the exception of what was it, Virus, Jiger, and Super Monster. Those are the only three they never did. And I want to say uh, the new Netflix season, or not, they're not on Netflix anymore, but the later seasons of the reboot rebooted version of Mystery Science Theater 3000 have since gone on to cover some, if not all, of those last remaining 3 movies. Just a side tangent, there is a fan series that put out 2 out of a planned 3 episodes called...
Oh yeah, the one they did for Destroy All Planets.
Yes, they did. There was
I remember that. I saw it on YouTube.
Yeah,
one
it's
time.
an unofficial fan project called MST3K versus Gamera Round 2, where I was the voice of Tom Servo for those first two episodes.
Wait, that was you?
That was me.
Wow, I did not know that. So you did a fan voice for Tom Servo?
Servo, yeah. I was the
Servo.
voice. Yeah, I was the voice of Tom Servo for
Wow.
the fan episodes of Gamera versus Virus and Gamera versus Jiger.
Wow, I'm gonna have to put that in somewhere. I had to put that link in somewhere in the description, so you guys in the audience can check that out.
Sure, absolutely. I know our friend Brayton. This was his passion project, and we've wanted to do the last movie of Gamera Super Monster for the longest time, but real IRL responsibilities and priorities, things like that. So it's taken a while to get that last episode off the ground. But we are really proud of how Virus and Jiger turned out.
Wow, and yes. Wow, that is so interesting and really awesome. And yes, and I know the new Mystery Science reboot was they did made an episode of Gamera versus Jiger of that. I like. I mean, you did mention they're no longer on Netflix or
I don't believe so. I want to say that they are self-funded, I believe. I think they host their own seasons on their own platform. I could be wrong because I haven't really been following the newer seasons of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
And I could swear I think I saw one of them on Tubi. That's the free streaming, and I could swear I saw one on there, but I'm not sure. Maybe I'll go and check them out.
Oh yeah, I could definitely be wrong there. Again, just have not been following MST3K for a while now.
Yeah. So that's like that's so far I know about how Gamera getting some attention in North America and during that time, and then but the later DVDs won't release till somewhere in the early 2000s.
I want to say like Alpha Video put out the majority of them, and a lot of them were under like public domain status because at the time it seemed like the what do you call it? What were the cropped full screen pan and scan versions with the very murky colorings? Those were the versions, the only ones you could find on VHS and DVD, I believe, at the time.
Yeah, I mean those earliest DVDs were by the American International Picture versions.
Yeah.
I wish I remember those classics during my time as a kid.
Oh no, you're not missing out on much. Just be glad that you have like the good versions of those movies nowadays.
Oh yeah, I mean I had the original Japanese cuts on Arrow Video. I mean,
great.
Yeah, but all the dubs are there.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, Andres, don't tell me you didn't have the Arrow Video version of the Blu-ray collection.
I never got the Arrow set. Here's the thing. I was collecting Gamera movies during a time before Arrow, before Shout Factory, before Mill Creek even. This is a time when only the public domain versions existed on DVD. And I found a really cool bootleg website that made like very high quality bootleg DVDs based on the Japanese DVDs and then put English subtitles on them. They're still around to this day. I won't mention who they are live just because I don't want them to get in trouble. But I used to purchase from that website a lot. And so even to this day, all of my Showa Gamera DVDs are from that website. So while I
Wow.
could upgrade to the Blu-rays, I'd like to upgrade to Blu-rays, but it's just one of those things where I collected all my Godzilla and Gamera movies on DVD, and I'm not quite ready. I've upgraded my Gamera trilogy to Blu-ray with the original Mill Creek release, but I'm not ready to um, upgrade all the movies. I don't want to buy all the movies all over again. For me, I just don't want to go through that hassle.
Yeah,
But
I
I am very
understand
jealous.
that.
But I am very jealous of those who can purchase all the movies on either DVD or Blu-ray officially,
I
depending
pref
on who
I
you buy it
prefer to
from.
get them on Blu-ray because they have best high quality picture to it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm just saying that there are certain people out there who might not have the means of playing Blu-ray discs, or maybe they're on a budget and the DVD is just a cheaper option for them. I'm just saying that people have their options now, which is those are options I wish I had back when I was in high school collecting these movies.
Yeah, I mean the Arrow video version of those films are much better than the Mill Creek because all of
Yeah,
them had the dubs and it has special features and and the artwork cover of them is done by Matt Frank, and which I did have him on my show before for the first Gamera film.
cool.
And and yeah, I mean, yes, so I mean, I know that yeah, Gamera's starting to get some attention during Godzilla Heisei is during this time,
Hmm.
and they're trying to. I know I forgot what the producer and the creators were, the Gamera's name were, but they're trying to figure out a perfect timing to bring back Gamera. I mean, and when they hear the Godzilla versus the Destroyer uh, was going to release next year, I mean, yeah, I thought that when they heard that they're going to kill off Godzilla in that film in 1995, which is the same year that Guardian Universe was going to be released, they they thought they thought this was going to be the perfect time to bring back Gamera. Yeah, since Godzilla is going to give it another rest, or yeah, yeah, yes, they thought they were going to bring back the giant turtle again. Even the first trailer of it looks good. I mean, I know they use stock footage from some of his Shona era films,
Right.
but they
It,
did
it
show,
was very, very early footage of that suit.
yeah. This I kind of like it, yeah, because Gamma kind of looks a little cute in this one because you look at it, the big eyes and big mouth and all that, and
Oh, yeah, it's a little bit of a stylized proportions. I would say it's like a he's cool, he's detailed, but he's cool and cute. He's got a little bit of cartooniness in the face, but not too much. So it's kind of strikes a right balance between something that's more realistic, but also at the same time more stylized.
yeah, and so now we're gonna get on to the films now, starting with Guardian of the Universe,
Hmm.
and and yeah, so yeah, I'm looking forward to talk about this one. This is the first one, and it but before we get to more about the behind the scenes, what we knew about it, but I want to say that uh, about about the early draft and the early script of this,
Hmm.
they they thought they want to bring Gamera back to life after what happened in the last film from the Shona era, but yeah, uh, they thought yeah, they would scratch that. I mean, they try to come up with another plan of for Gamma doing something new with him. They thought they don't they thought like well, I think the original script idea they thought they want Gamma to come back as a child friendly monster to friend of all children, but I think the director of this Koni so yes, Kao so I
The director of these movies.
yeah, and who also did the GMK film,
Oh yeah, Shusuke Kaneko.
Shisei Kanago. Yeah, he thought, yeah, that yeah, he doesn't want that. He want Gamma to be more darker and a little this film to be serious.
Yeah, I definitely remember there was a great article that was written by my friend Patrick Galvin, which you can read right now on Sakura Central. He wrote basically a whole retrospective on the Showa Gamera franchise, and it was the director of the majority of the Showa era. It was very interesting looking at his outlook on the Showa Gamera series, where he was someone where as a kid he never trusted adults, and so when he was in control of the Gamera movies he directed, he wanted the children to be the true heroes of the movies, and he never really liked the approach that Kaneko took with the 90s trilogy. Granted, I respectfully disagree with him, but it's very interesting to see just how the old guard of Gamera really saw him as, oh, this is just pure escapist fantasy. It's not meant to be taken seriously. These are, in his translated words, these are Gamera movies, not art house movies. So it's funny hearing him say that. Whereas Shusuke Kaneko, he really did take it into a dark fantasy type of movie where the whole kind of conceit was, what if giant monsters really did exist? How would the world realistically react to them, to their presence? And I think that is really the what makes these movies feel so special. They feel so grounded, but at the same time draw you into this world where you get the sort of perspective, multiple perspectives from very relatable characters that you want to root for as Gamera and the Gals start showing up and causing panic, chaos, and havoc.
Yeah, which I was gonna bring up that that the coach Kochi's
Kaneko?
Kaneko that he didn't want Gamera to be created by like from the atomic bomb by awakened by an atomic bomb, kind of like in the original.
Right.
He thought, why not Gamma was awakened that by ancient stone that he was created by Atlanteans. Who
Yeah, that was also very interesting because Atlantis was only like vaguely mentioned in the original Gamera the Giant Monster. But it's just all it was like, oh, this Gamera could have been a species from Atlantis, and it's never expanded upon after that. And so I always applaud Kaneko and his team for just like taking that one line from the original movie and then just making it like the whole focus of Guardian of the Universe.
yeah, it, yeah. When I watched the film and then they heard that Gamma was created by Atlanteans many years ago, the same Atlantis that was sink in the Pacific or Atlantic Ocean. I
I'd
forgot.
say traditionally it was Atlantic, but I know that in Japan they have their own sort of like lost civilization. What was it, Mu? In like Mu is sort of like the Atlantis of the Pacific Ocean. So, um, I forgot if they mentioned where Atlantis was in this universe, but presumably it would be in the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, and yeah, that's how Gamma was created by Atlanteans. Like when I heard of it, I was like, I have no idea how they create Gamera. But I think I heard in the story that I mean, I heard there was a prequel novel about this by Matt Frank.
Oh, that was an unofficial comic that he created, which turned out to be it turned out to have, what do you call it, inconsistencies with the actual backstory that Kaneko and his team had in mind for the actual story itself, the actual in continuity lore of the trilogy. So that was like a fan project solely made for out of like, pure speculation that really had nothing to do with the has yeah, it does have nothing to do with the official movies, but it was included with the Arrow box, the special edition of the Arrow box set, along with the Dark Horse comics, which were official.
Yeah, I mean, I just wish they couldn't make a prequel film of these films. How it tells the backstory of Gamera in Atlantis, and
I mean, it's interesting that you say that because at one point, Kaneko did approach Kadokawa with an idea for a new Gamera project. However, by then, Kadokawa was already working on what would become Gamera Rebirth. So, had they not been working on Gamera Rebirth, maybe we could have seen a new Kaneko follow up project. Aside from that, there was ironically a prequel manga for Gamera Rebirth that did focus on the Atlantean society and older experimental monsters they were creating prior to Gamera, I believe.
yeah, and it and I think that during the backstory for that, I would say they say that that us also Atlanteans also did they create the Gauss too? Or
Yes.
the ev- they s- I I don't remember, but I don't know if you remember. But
Mhm.
did they were there two sides of Atlantis? So one is good and bad.
They mentioned like so according to my notes here, because I spoke with my shout out to my friend Nick Huber, who helped me with this research. He has some plans and he has been looking deep into the official lore of Gamera. Apparently, the Atlantis created the Gauss as a weapon for war against their neighboring empires, believing they were more pure due to their closer connection with the planet. Mana is the life force of the planet, but it grows stronger when there is peace in the world. But when negativity, such as war and pollution, comes, mana decreases. The Gauss were created to thrive in this environment and hopefully remove Atlantis's rival empires. However, the mere act of making the Gauss made Atlantis have less mana, and the Gauss turned on its creators, and the mana kept decreasing as chaos and death spread. So it's sort of like a domino effect where the Atlanteans had other enemies, but because they created the Gauss, it led to their own demise, which ultimately led them to creating Gamera at the last second to combat the Gauss.
Yeah, and that is an interesting story. I mean, and is and I don't think they ever explain how Gamera was trapped inside a big rock that was floating in the ocean, and
Oh
then
no, but I think it's well. Sorry to interrupt you, but that's what I like about these movies. There's a lot of questions that are left unanswered, but I think it works in that way because it adds a level of mystery and intrigue and sort of mysticism that adds to the wow factor of Gamera because you don't know how he works, why he does what he does. In my opinion, having that layer of mystery makes him more interesting as a result. It's what you don't know that keeps you guessing, keeps you uh, um, keeps you more invested in the story, and just sort of like, oh, here's this lost civilization of Atlantis. We're never gonna know what they looked like or what they were about or what exactly happened to them, but
yeah,
knowing that there
Li-
was a huge there was this huge society that's now lost forever, I think that's really cool, a really cool setup for this world. Then I like getting little pieces of lore just dropped throughout this franchise.
yeah. I mean, and I thought that how Gamera was trapped in the rock thing after thousands of years. I mean, I wonder if that happened. the same time as how Atlantis got sank. I wonder if that's like how it happened. I mean, the Gamera just goes into hibernation over thousands of years.
I mean, that's probably the case, but like I said, it's not important for the story this movie's trying to tell because it's like at the moment it's like okay, what happened in the past stays in the past. Now we're focused on the present with these modern day characters, and luckily enough, they do enough to carry the film from start to finish.
Yeah. Yes. Whew. Since we worked out of how this backstory goes, I mean, so let's talk about the main character, Gamera, in this. I mean, the design of Gamera looks so cool. I mean, almost closest to the Shona era, but what I heard, they I think the creator, the producer, like you want the producer of it, like of Die, want to make Gamera to look like from the Shona era, but one of the one of the people who work on this, like the design of this, like he wants to make Gamera shell make more rounder, like a normal turtle.
Hmm.
Yeah, as you can tell, I mean, it's a lot different from the Shona era because, and I like the back of his shell looks so cool and looking, and yeah they want to make Gamera look more turtle looking, like from the show. He Yeah, I mean, when I look at it, he kind of almost look like a cross between the Shona Gamera and a normal turtle looking. Uh,
Yeah, it's a solid design.
yeah, and I also like the face of it. He kind of looks cute with that face,
Hmm.
the big eyes and the big mouth and all that. And hmm, yeah, I mean, one of the earliest designs, they were gonna have Gamma has some horns or claws on his elbows for the
Mm.
film, but they rejected them. They just took them off, and then but they and decided to put the elbow
Retractable
claws.
claws. Yeah.
Yeah, they removed, but they scratched that, and they decided to put in what that one scene where
Hmm.
the elbows claws pop out, and they scratch Kagaos.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and 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 yeah, I mean, and I don't know if you noticed, but there are three Scamera suits for this film.
Yeah.
Yeah, one is for action scene, the second is for close-up scenes, and the
Hmm.
other is just for water scene, with just the top half.
That is really cool. It's always interesting to see which kind of suits are needed for which kinds of sequences. I believe the Godzilla franchise has definitely done taken that route before, and I do know that when it came to like let's say Final Wars, for instance, there was uh, the suit for close-ups, and then there were the suits for the more intense action sequences, and that's the suit that survived up to the present day for those Godzilla Day shorts.
Yeah, and they did have some Gamera animatronics ones for his face,
Hmm.
like to move the head and all that, and make the eyes move.
Hmm.
Just just for that part, it was like, and that one is again is for close-ups.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I like both of these suits, the action and the close-up suits. I mean, the action suit was actually used in the movie trailer. I mean, aka the teaser trailer for it, with the and you if you look up YouTube for the teaser trailer for it, you can see they used the action suit for that for the trailer
Mm.
with his eyes glowing orange and
Hmm.
all that. I mean, so yeah, I like that suit and the close up suits, but I don't like the water suit for that. I mean,
Hmm.
because it looks nothing like compared to the action and close up versions.
Hmm.
I mean, it is a suit, but it has the yeah, but they use the topper half for it, and yeah, kind of make Gamera look like a puppet
Hmm.
version of it. I mean, so yeah, and I mean, Gamera has some abilities and like some new ones.
Hmm.
They were gonna have Gamera like have a fly ability that has his arms that go flat and spread out. It's like a kind of like a sea turtle. But
Yes.
yeah, but they rejected that for the first film. They
Hmm.
instead of put it in the second film when he was flying.
Yeah, it is interesting to see, like, as we go on with each movie, Kaneko is given more and more creative control with each film. And you can definitely sort of tell that with this movie. It feels the closest to a standard kaiju film where there's a slow buildup of, oh, there's these bad monsters showing up. Here's the main monster showing up. What are they about? What's going on? They slowly become more big. The problem escalates. The situation grows more and more dire, and eventually we get a really cool battle at the very end. After that, we have built up to. Cut to the second movie. It's more of an experimental, sort of like military drama where you don't really have like you have less relatable characters. You have characters are like, oh, they're all involved in the military to some degree. And then when you go into the third movie, it becomes more of like it delves deeper more into dark fantasy, almost like apocalyptic type of scenario, and also a bit of psychological horror as well. So yeah, it is interesting going back here, and things are more restricted, but also at the same time more traditional in terms of kaiju storytelling.
Yeah, and also I forgot to bring this up, but we talk about Gamera was created by Atlantis, but
Hmm.
when the one scene when researchers when the researchers are studying the big rock Gamera was in, they
Hmm.
found an ancient stone that was created by the Atlanteans. They
Yes.
also they found the beads. There are those
Oh, the
beads that
Magatama.
yeah, the Nakatama where that girl was holding on to one of the guys gave it to her as a gift, and
Hmm.
they said that these beans are responding for Gamera. If you if you're holding on to those beads along, yeah, you'll seem to have a link connection with Gamera.
Yes. I
It's
did
kind
go
it's
ahead.
they're kind of like they're kind of like your Gamera's remote control of him. Like you can remote control Gamera.
Yeah, looking into my research notes here, the Magatama necklaces found on the atoll that sealed Gamera worked as a charging device that allows Gamera to share mana from humanity instead of the planet, and allows the two to form bonds. However, as a representation of the planet itself. Um, this comes at the cost of risking the user's life as they share Gamera's wounds and life force when the device is used. Gamera destroyed all the Magatamas in Gamera 2 in order to make sure no more humans would be hurt in when and no longer share his struggles. This came at the cost of Gamera using mana from the Earth itself to destroy Legion at the end. The
Oh, I'm sorry. So that
Yeah.
explains why that bee was destroyed in
Yes, he
Legion.
Gamera intentionally destroyed them because he didn't want anyone to suffer anymore from his battles. However, the harsh conditions of low mana levels from Gamera draining the planet allowed the Gals to mutate and grow larger in the third movie, resulting in them becoming the Hyper Gals.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I was gonna find one of those bees online, like to buy one and keep it for a collection. I don't know if they make those like on those
I'm sure
shop
you
shop.
can. you can definitely I'm sure someone on Etsy has probably created them, but I definitely would recommend reaching out to my friend Nick Huber, who also dabbles in 3D modeling and 3D printing. And I want to say that he has also produced replicas of the Magatamas, both the Gamera version and the Iris version. So I'd recommend reaching out to him to commission him if he hasn't already made those necklaces or have any more of those necklaces made.
Okay. Then yeah, I would definitely like yeah, have one of those. Maybe I'll control Gamera. Yeah, that'll be cool. It's like have a bond with him. And yeah, but that was awesome. Of I forgot that girl's name in the film, the main girl. Like,
Oh, that was. I know I have this note up here. That was Asagi.
I, yeah, I mean, I should look it up on my phone. Like, yeah,
Ooh, by the way, it's wild to think that Ayako Fujitani, for the actress who played Asagi, this was her very first film ever, and I forgot what the story was, but where it was like she happened to have been there and she was asked to audition, she on a whim, she did it, she got the part, and that was the start of her acting career.
yeah, yeah. That's what I thought. I mean, that was her first film she was in. Is the yeah, that's a Gamera film, and
Yeah,
she's I say that her and the Gamera trilogy, like she's like the Gamera actress character version of Miki Sagusa in the Heisei
yeah,
Godzilla film.
I'd say that's a pretty good comparison there.
She's like the Gamera version of Miki Sagusa.
Yeah, she's our human connection. She's the one through her that we learn about Gamera's motivations and his like general goals towards eliminating the Gauss. Um, Again, adding another layer of that mysticism there, where it's something we don't fully understand, but we just have to put our faith in Gamera as much as she does as well. I like the sort of the drama that comes from between her character and her father, where the father just wants her to be safe. He's afraid of this connection that she's forming with him, and
Yeah,
as the trilogy goes along, we see her grow and change. She starts out as a normal teenager towards becoming more of a stoic, what do you call it, figurehead for Gamera in the second movie. And then by the third movie, she becomes back to sort of like living as a normal teenager after losing her connection to Gamera, but still is willing um, to convince the people around her that he's still trying to fight the good fight despite the destruction that he's made. And again, a major props to Ayako Fujitani, who who nails it each time as this character. And I definitely would recommend that for anyone who enjoys this trilogy to definitely check her out in her other movies,
y-
specifically the movie Ritual by Hideaki Anno. She is amazing in that movie in Ritual, and she was in The Man from Reno, which is an American film noir, like neo noir mystery drama that she's also in, which she's also really good in, and she speaks English for majority of that movie, and she's is a fluent English speaker.
wow.
I got the chance to meet her at the very first All Monsters Attack convention, and I asked her, it's like, oh, so what was it like working with both Ano compared to working with Kaneko? And I believe she said that Ano was much more relaxed, more casual, whereas with Kaneko, he's more direct. He's like more focused. He's like very specific about what he wants, whereas with Ano was more like do what you feel like doing type of
Yeah,
director.
yeah, and I just wish I got to meet Akio Futanoti. I hope
Ayako
I'm
Fujitani.
yeah, I hope I'm saying that correct. I mean, I yeah, like were gonna have her at G Fest like last year,
Oh,
but she kind of didn't make it. Uh,
ah.
Yeah,
Well,
she couldn't
I'm
come.
hoping I'm hoping there's always next time. I want to say that All Monsters Attack was their first convention way back in I think it was 2022. So I think that I remember hearing that she had a very positive experience then. So I hope that she would be able to do a G Fest one of these days.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, he, yeah, I mean, when they were doing Gamera Guardian of the Universe, like she was like 15, 15 and 16 when during the making of the film and when the film was released.
Hmm.
She was definitely a teenager back then, and also she is the daughter of Steven
Seagal, yeah.
Seagal. Yeah, I mean, wish I heard that. Yeah, wish I heard that her and her dad didn't get along as much. I mean, I hope I'm correct on that. I mean,
I've heard the same thing, and I'm pretty sure that's not going to change anytime soon.
yeah, wish I don't know much about that
Oh,
actor Steve stuff.
trust me. I've watched a lot of video. Steven Seagal, that is a rabbit hole where it just gets crazier and crazier the more you read up about that guy.
Yeah,
Uh,
I did research of him. I mean, he's been in a few spy movies or action films.
he used to be a big action star in the 90s, and then eventually he burned every bridge in Hollywood and would eventually start doing an endless stream of direct to video movies, and he's pretty much kind of become a joke at this point.
Hmm. So yeah, so let's get into the yeah. I want to talk about this other character who is the bird lady and this other guy who is
Oh yeah, Mayumi and Inspector Osako, yes.
yeah. Naomi is like the actress who plays her. She was also in Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2, who raised baby Godzilla.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I know with Inspector Osako, he's played by Yukijiro Hotaru, and I have seen a lot of his work. He's done a lot of stuff with director Keita Amameya, where he was in Zeram 2. He was in Tekoki Mikazuki, the giant robot show. He is the butler from the Garo franchise. I want to say there's probably several
Was
more movies
he
that
was
he's
he
been.
was also in GMK.
Yes, he had a cameo in GMK, also directed by Shusuke Kaneko. He also had a cameo appearance in Hokkaido. He's been in a lot of stuff. Been all over the place.
And I gotta say, his character in this film he's a little funny in this one, and
Oh yeah, that's kind of like what he plays. He usually plays the more comic relief characters. Either he's like the more cowardly character or a sleazy type of character. He's always kind of like, yeah, that comic relief of sort. But again, like everyone else in this movie, he's a very relatable character. So you understand why he is just scared out of his wits. And it's almost tragic what happens to him from movie to movie, where by the second film he he quits the police force because he was so traumatized. He quit being a police to become a security guard in the second movie, only to be encountering more monsters. And then by the third movie, he's unable to hold a job and becomes homeless and is reunited with Mayumi to solely help him get back on his feet. So again, you take something that is very typical of a kaiju movie and then sort of take things in a more realistic direction where it's like, what happens to someone like him that encounters these incredibly dangerous life or death scenarios, and he is pretty much like a shadow of his former self by the very end. But luckily enough, he is able to acquire that second chance of that chance of redemption.
yeah, and I gotta say that the bird lady character, this I kind of like her in this one,
Hmm.
and because she's like who studies birds a lot, and she
Oh yeah,
studies.
she's great at like the typical type of scientist character who provides exposition on how these creatures may or may not work. which is a staple of any classic kaiju series, and for creatures as fantastical as the Gauss, where they're not birds, they're not reptiles, they're unlike anything the human mankind has ever seen. She plays a great role at being the audience's eyes in terms of discovering how these creatures work.
Yeah, and she was only in this film and the third film, but she wasn't in the second one.
Right. I believe that was the case.
Yeah, and yeah, and speaking of bird studying, let's talk about the villainous Giles. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm glad they brought back Giles in this one because Giles is Gamera's main is arch enemy. It's
Hmm.
like it's the biggest enemy. Like it's yeah, I mean Giles' design looks so cool looking
Hmm.
and much more than the Shona era one because Giles in the Shona era, like his Giles always stand up straight, his neck's up straight, like
Hmm.
it his head doesn't like tilt. I mean a little bit. It's like always bends down and yeah, they Giles in this one looks so realistic and bat looking.
Hmm.
Yeah, as you could tell, the looks and design, he looks so much realistic and monster looking because his head down and then I think Giles is more like a bat than a bird.
Hmm.
Doesn't he? Like he's
Oh
almost
yeah,
like
I've always believed that. In fact, I've always thought saw Gauss as like a pseudo bat pterosaur looking creature.
yeah. I mean, Giles in the Shona era, he's like a giant vampire bat monster in the Shona era, but
Hmm.
in Guardians, he looks more like a cross between a bat and a reptile looking.
Hmm.
Yeah, as you can tell, he's like a reptile bat, like a cross between a bat and a lizard.
Hmm.
Sort
Oh
of
yeah,
like the
go ahead.
yeah, and this time there were like three gals in this, but they're smaller.
Yeah,
And
and I like that how each one goes out. They are all fighting Gamera at different scales. The first one dies when it's very tiny. The second one dies when it's of medium size, and then the third one is the super gals that provides the big giant monster on monster fight at the end of the film.
yeah, and I can see when one of the gals escapes and Gamma defeats one of them, there are only two left,
Hmm.
and then in the next scene when Gamma is find one of them by the people at the bridge, one
Hmm.
of those gals are still small, but I think they're kind of grown a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, but Gamma just defeats one of them with one fireball blast, and then he's just yeah. I don't know if you can tell one of the gals is like normal size, but I think one of them just grown
Oh yeah, yeah.
bigger.
Yeah, the last one is the one that grows the biggest. And I like that when it grows into super gals, not only do its eyes turn red, but it also has, for that one moment, it has the classic Showa roar, which I thought was a
Oh
very nice
yeah.
touch.
Oh yeah, definitely. It does have the classic Shona War, and then I want to talk about that scene. If you look closely at that scene, I mean,
Hmm.
I don't. I remember when I first saw this film as a kid for the first time. I mean,
Hmm.
I for a moment I thought it was Giles was eating something and he was growing,
Oh yeah, he
but
was eating the people in the bus, or no, in the train. There were those sports fans with the green jerseys. They were like, "Oh man, I wish we could see one of those Gausses up close." Ironically, the Gauss attacks them and eats them from within that train.
yeah, but I'm talking about the scene where he was Giles was in the woods and he was like,
Oh,
as a
afterwards, yeah.
yeah, that was afterwards, and I don't when I was a kid, I thought it was guy was just eating something and he's starting growing, but
Hmm.
as of today, when I watched this film after many years, I mean, I started to see he was like when I look carefully, I see he's starting to shed.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and he's starting to grow, and I see all the skin is like almost his skin is like almost like pieces of his skin falling off.
Hmm.
It's like he's shedding.
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder if that's why because he's growing.
Oh,
He's
for
getting
sure.
bigger.
Totally. Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, kind of like a snake did when it shed his skin, like because it
Hmm.
was growing. Because kind of, and like I said, because Giles is it's a cross between a bat and a reptile.
Hmm.
I can say Giles is definitely a flying reptile because of this one scene he was growing and he's shedding.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I love the battle scene for this. I mean, the full battle scene is does show to the end and when these two are fighting.
Hmm.
Also, I think I don't know if they use like an animatronic close up for Gauls, but
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but I think one of those Gammas, I think one of those Gauls suits, like for when they were small. I mean, I
Hmm.
think one of them is just an animatronic, or one of them is a puppet.
Hmm.
For Giles, is small creatures. I mean, but I'm not sure.
Hmm.
But I know the Super Giles is definitely it's definitely a suit.
Hmm.
And also, I learned back then that Giles was played by a woman.
Yes, yes, that's right. I believe she was the first ever female kaiju suit actor.
Yeah, and I know the Gamera was played by two different actors.
Hmm.
I think. I think one of them said that the Gamera suit was almost heavy, and then
Hmm.
it's very hard to move. And they say when they're in the Gamera suit,
Hmm.
like for the action suit, or they said they couldn't see anything while they're in the
Hmm.
suits,
Hmm.
and they have a hard time hearing while they're inside the suit.
Hmm.
So that is like more difficult than the Godzilla suits.
Hmm.
Yeah,
um, Go ahead.
yeah, because I know one of the Godzilla classic Godzilla suits. I know they punch holes in the necks so they could see out of them, and probably the same thing for the Heisei era, and but not for Gamera for the Heisei era. I mean, they definitely can't hear or see out of the suit.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I believe I want to say I'm not sure. I believe the same suit actor who played Gamera in the first movie would go on to play him in the second movie, but by the third movie, they had a new suit actor, and that suit actor was Hirofumi Fukuzawa, and he's very special. The Gamera 3 suit actor is very special because he was a suit actor for every Red Ranger from 1992 to 2012. After that, he would become, I believe, a uh, fight choreographer or a trainer. He would become a trainer for new suit actors after 2012.
Hmm. Hmm. That's interesting. So I think we'll get to that later. I mean,
Sure,
yeah, I want to talk about the Gal suit and the woman who betrayed the Gal suit.
sure.
I mean, I know that the director of this film, Koti
Kaneko.
Kaneko, who directed this. I mean, I mean, the lady who betrayed Gauss is like is one of Kaneko's like first suit actress for one of his films.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I know his second suit actress. Who I I do know his second suit
Oh yeah,
actress
Ria
is
Ota.
Rialto, who played Baragon in GMK.
Yeah.
The the one who did that cute little war when they're filming that.
Right.
I like her. They should have kept her roar in this film.
I am glad that I'm glad she at least has come to G Fest a few times.
Yeah, and I'm glad I got to meet her, and I'm surprised that the actress who portrayed Giles, they didn't do one of the cute wars, kind of like the other actress did for Baragon. That would be so cool, but
Yeah. I
but the
mean, who knows? Maybe there's footage out there that we just haven't seen yet.
yeah, but those films were made in the 90s. I mean, that was way before GMK was
Yeah.
released.
And it's possible that they just, weren't filming much at the time. I know my friend Norman, Norman England, he wrote a really good book. He was on the set of Gamera 3, and he described his experiences on the set of Gamera 3, as well as the uh, the other Godzilla, Millennium Godzilla movies. He was on the set of GMK practically every single day. And if you want to learn more about his experiences on the set, I highly recommend purchasing his book.
Oh yeah, I have that book.
Hell yeah, Behind the
Yep.
Kaiju Curtain.
Yep, I have it right here. Got my
Nice,
copy.
nice. So yeah, and he was there, he was taking photos, he was recording video. He's not allowed to share most of his photos and videos, but he has shared some of them online over the years. But I would definitely say that for anyone who is interested in just what it was like on the set of Gamera and Godzilla during this time, you're not going to get a better perspective than with Norman England through his book, and that is Behind the Kaiju Curtain: A Journey onto Japan's Biggest Film Sets, which is available for purchase on Amazon right now. So check it out.
Yeah. So yeah, I got I should have done some research on that to learn more about these films by Norman England, and
Oh yeah, he has a lot of knowledge on what goes on behind the scenes,
yeah,
and he's a super close friend of Shusuke Kaneko.
and wow, and yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, yeah, I mean, Norman England is a great guy. I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah, and yeah. So I think that's just about it for the Guardians of the Universe. I mean, I like one of my favorite moments for the fight scene is the ending part when Gamma soars up a lot of fire, like
Mhm.
the fire energy. I mean, he just
Mhm.
defeats Giles with one fireball flash on Giles's head and destroys it. I
Yes.
thought that was like awesome.
I just remember I believe there was an interview where um where Kaneko mentioned that in the Showa series, Gamera's main thing was he eats fire. And as an homage to that, he wanted a moment in each of his movies to have Gamera absorb fire in some way. And right before that final blast, we do get a moment where Gamera crashes into that power plant. There's a huge explosion, and then he absorbs all that explosion into him. We get a similar moment in Gamera 2 where he has this like ring of fire that resurrects him days after being petrified into rock. And then we get the flaming fist sequence from Gamera 3 where he absorbs Iris's fire blast or energy blast at him. So that was really cool. And we also had a previous homage to the fight in the Showa film, Gamera versus Gauss, where Gauss intentionally cuts off its foot in order to free itself from Gamera's jaws. We get another similar scene in this movie where
Yeah,
Gauss
that thing
also
where
loses its leg. Yeah. So there's definitely a lot of callbacks and shout outs to the Showa series with this movie. So I like that it is I would say Gamera Guardian of the Galaxy, to wrap up my thoughts, it's the perfect reboot. One of the best reboots I've ever seen. And it also is great at establishing a story for a trilogy, but also remaining a great standalone story at the same time. You don't need, a lot of people would defend, say, Godzilla, Planet of the Monsters, because, oh, not a lot happens because it's setting up for the sequels. But here there is setup, but there's still a good story here to enjoy on its own. And finally, this is a great example of a movie that tries to do something completely new, but still respecting what came before.
Yeah. It's yeah, so yeah, it's like interesting of that, and yeah, they after its release, Guardians Gamera Guardian of the Universe, it is like a big Gamma hit. Uh,
Hmm.
that went a big hit at the box office, better than Super Monster. And I know that some of the late Gamera Shona era films were kind of going to a flop when it came to an end of the 60s and 80s. And but when Gamera first came back, that when it's a perfect time they when brought Gamera back, they were afraid this movie might be a flop, but turns out it was a big hit thanks to the special effects directors and the director Koichi no
Kaneko.
Kaneko. Yeah, I mean without them, I mean this film wouldn't be been a hit.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
also major shout out to Shinji Higuchi for as the special effects director of this trilogy.
yeah, and also, before we wrap up for this, before we get to the next one, I
Hmm.
want to talk about the dubs. I mean, the
Okay.
the English dubs. I mean, first of all three films were released on DVD in North America by ADV Films.
Hmm.
They who also did the VHS and DVD release for Destroy All Monsters and some other films like for some of the Diamond Jin films. And
Hmm.
and yeah, they did the English dub for this film. I think it was believe in the 1997, the year after Attack of Legion, I think. But I am looking it up, and
Yeah.
it I
I
mean
know
it
that I
was
believe the film was 1996.
uh, yeah, yeah, I mean 1996. I mean, yeah, I think the year after, because later it was released on VHS and in North America and in Canada. I mean,
Hmm.
it was dubbed by them. I know, and for a moment I thought it was the dub company that who did for some of the Heisei Godzilla films, but no, it was done by
Oh no, yeah, that was a Hong Kong studio that did the dub for the 90s Godzilla films.
yeah, the Hong Kong dub.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember the VHS for Gamera Guardian of the Universe. That was the one that also had promos for Super Atragon and Evangelion. And I remember that was my literally my my first ever exposure to Evangelion as a, let's see, that was, I want to say I was probably in kindergarten or first grade, and I rented Gamera Guardian of the Universe at my local Hollywood Video, and I remember seeing the promos for Super Atragon saying, "Oh, this looks like a cool like sci-fi movie." And then I see Evangelion, I'm like, "What the hell am I watching? What is this like trippy acid fest of a series of an anim of a cartoon?"
Yeah, and I remember. I think. I think both on the VHS and the DVD of this film, where they did the international movie credit, English credits for this, just for the first film, I
Okay.
think, but not the 2 and 3.
Right. I remember the DVDs for Gamera 2 and 3 were very hard to come by. So much so that back in high school, when I was collecting the Gamera trilogy on DVD, I had to like import the PAL regions of the ADV DVDs for Gamera 2 and 3 just to physically own them.
Yeah, instead of and yeah, and the dubs were back and they're added in the Mill Creek Blu-ray and the Arrow video, and
Hmm.
mostly the Arrow video has all of the has two dub versions. I mean,
Hmm.
speaking of, they also have they actually have a a second English dub audio version for Guardian of the Universe that was done by the United Kingdom.
Mm.
Yep, they released this film in the United Kingdom, and and they actually did their own English dub version for this one, which I did watch before we did the streaming.
Oh,
I
interesting.
usually I the ADV dub for it I grown up watching. I mean, I like, but 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 this is my first time watching the second dub that was done by the United Kingdom. I
Hmm.
did I watched it for the first time just a few days before we stream this, and I honestly I don't like that version.
I can see why. Like, I
Yeah,
remember, I want to say it was my friend again. Shout out to Nick Huber. I want to say that he was the one who also showed me that dub, because I think he also like saves different. He likes saving multiple versions of different movies, and he showed me the British dub, and I was like, oh, this doesn't sound right. And
yeah.
mhm.
I think it's because of the music beat background that was added to
Oh,
this dub.
was that the one with the techno music?
Yeah, like
Yeah, 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 yeah. It had like a Mortal
yeah,
Kombat
that.
style techno. Yes,
Yeah,
yes. I
it
have
kind of
seen this.
bothers me.
It doesn't work at all. And
Yeah,
there
it really doesn't fit into this dub version.
right. And it's like, what was it? Yeah. Kawatani, she was it he? She I know that Kawatani did the music for Gamera Guardian of the Universe. And there are times in that dub where you're watching the movie, you're hearing the Mortal Kombat techno music, and then Kawatani's music is playing at the same time, so you're hearing two different background songs going on
It
at the
is
same time.
crazy.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just really
it's
annoying.
annoying. It's chaos. It's just
Yeah,
really bad editing.
yeah, it is really bad, and what is so annoying that the beat, like they keep playing the beat when the gals attack the two people in the rain, and then after it cuts to the scene when the girl's doing shopping, and the beat
Mhm.
still goes on.
Oh, so it doesn't even stop when the scene
Yeah,
ends.
even the bird lady who's studying birds, that it keeps going. It's just so freaking annoying.
Yeah, just if for anyone who wants to watch this movie in English, just stick to the ADV dub.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd rather stick with the ADV dub.
I also I remember I went to AMA with my friend Frank, and I remember he mentioned to me that it was Rei, the voice actress who played Rei Ayanami from Evangelion. She did the dub voice for Ayako Fujitani's character, and I remember he asked her at the convention just what her thoughts were on the dubbed version of her character. And I think she said something from what I can remember of what Frank told me. The actress thought that the dub voice was good, but it was still very weird listening to someone's voice on top of her. She's like, "Oh, that doesn't sound like me. It's a good voice, but that's not me at all. This is
Uh,
weird." So I can only imagine, like, I can only imagine what that must be like to like see yourself dubbed with a completely different voice other than your own. Because again, she can speak English, but here's another English voice doing the speaking for her. It's trippy.
Well, so I think that's just about a wrap for Guardians as far as we know. And yeah, so let's get to Attack of
Oh,
Legion.
sure. To answer a few of Laura's questions, Nick, not Huber, has a very important question for Andres. Who is the other masked wrestler on my shirt? This is the three legendary masked wrestlers: Mil Máscara, Blue Demon, El Santo, and Mil Máscaras. Yep. For Laura's other question, who was Yukijiro Hotaru in Hokkaido? He was the guy that had the that lobotomy surgery. There's a moment where the main villain of Hokkaido is looking at all of his children on these monitors, and he's staring at this one guy who's standing alone in a white room with drool coming down his mouth. He has the scar of that lobotomy surgery. That's Yukijiro Hotaru in that film. And
Wow.
I'm sure for anyone who has not seen Hokkaido has no clue what the hell I'm talking about. But trust me, watch Hokkaido. It's a really badass film. It's like basically imagine Terminator 2 done in tokusatsu. It's basically Japanese Terminator, like Terminator meets Power Rangers, and it's incredible.
Wow. It sounds like it is incredible.
Oh, for sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that is directed by Keita Amamiya, who is one of my all-time favorite directors of tokusatsu, probably one of my favorite directors ever. And Media Blasters put out Hokkaido on Blu-ray along with several of his movies. The latest of which I'll be working on with the commentary for that Blu-ray of his latest movie, which also, spoiler alert, has Yukijiro Hotaru.
Yeah.
Oh, and Seba Rex Bash says, "Hi guys, thank you very much for joining us, Seba Rex."
Yeah. Yeah. So let's get on with this second film. I mean, I know after the Guardians of the Universe was released, I mean, it was a big box office hit, like I mentioned earlier. I mean, so they this since they made enough money, like why not make a sequel to this one? But this time to make it more interesting and make it more different than the other classic Gamera films. Like why not have a new monster? That I heard some rumors. I don't know if it's true, but I heard
Mm-hmm.
they were gonna have Baragon gonna be starring
Mm.
in this one, uh, but they thought why not? They thought why not just make a new monster that we never seen before?
Right. Looking at my notes here, Kaneko definitely wanted to make a unique threat for Gamera after fighting the Gals, and so he decided to have the idea of Gamera fighting a whole entire species of monsters, and that ultimately became the basis for Legion.
Yeah, which is actually they got the name off of that was based off the name of a demon
Mm-hmm. Right,
that
right.
I heard.
Based on from that biblical quote that was also used in the movie.
Yeah, what the Legion name, is the word for demon. It's like it's something that came out of the name is like came from out of the Bible. It's like I think it's something from the lost continent back then as I don't know much, but they said that name was based off of a Bible story about like guardian angels or something demons or
Mm-hmm.
I don't I hope I'm correct in that.
Mm. unfortunately, I did not look up into the origins of the biblical origins of Legion, um, since I was mostly looking into like sort of like the production notes of the Legion themselves and how they work. Which interestingly, I do like that we get this same sort of approach for the Legion, like we did with the Gauss in the previous film, where a lot of it is just trying to understand this brand new organism that has never been seen on Earth, and them constantly pulling out new tricks every like as the movie goes on. It's kind of like the alien, the xenomorph from Aliens,
Yeah.
where it's like just when you think you finally understood this creature, it does something brand new that no one expects. Yeah, that's totally unexpected.
Yeah, I did look it up the name of Legion. Like as it's like I don't know much. There's not much research about Legion, but I do know there was a movie called Legion from 2010. It, that's the one that the mutate humans like yeah. If you've ever seen that movie called Legion from 2010, I mean, if you haven't seen that movie, I mean, definitely check that out. I mean, I
Okay.
never seen it, but I heard it was good because
Hmm.
yeah, Ye so yeah, that's how I know about Legion so far. I mean,
Sure, sure.
yeah, I know the Legion bugs are they're bug aliens from outer space. They came from the
Hmm.
meteor, and yeah, these kind. I mean, I gotta say these things look terrified. Has that big eyes and starting murdering people, attacking them. But
Hmm.
yeah, and I say these guys right here, the soldier legions. I mean,
Hmm.
I feel like they're like a almost a total rip off from the destroyer.
Oh, like the what do you call it? The aggregate form, or like the small little destroyers that are human sized.
Yeah, they attacked them. I feel like this film was almost like a they're trying to capture from Godzilla versus the destroyer. And yeah, those soldiers legions almost similar to the soldier destroyers.
I can definitely see that. Um, I would say that, insectoid monsters, or like, like crustaceous, insectoid, invertebrate style monsters. I mean, there's only so much you can do with like a creature with armor with multiple legs. They all, you can easily see them as all kind of blending together. But I would say that while they might on the surface resemble a bit of Destroya, I would say that it is the execution of their designs that I feel really help it stand out. You
Yeah,
got
and I
suit actors there. You can tell looking at that figure, you can see where the suit actor's head would go, where the arms are, where the legs are. I
yeah,
like.
yeah, since you and I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, no, go ahead.
Now that you mention it, I was gonna say, like, I don't know if this is like a suit or a prop that they use. I mean, I gotta say, where would the feet go and the head go? I
I
mean, I
believe
have
like
no idea how they use this.
I mean, if you look at the back horn, I would say that's where the head is. If you look at the side, the legs sticking out the side, that's where the arms are. And then like the four bottom legs, that's where the legs would go.
Yeah, I could not even tell of this. This is like a most difficult suit to wear.
Yeah, and the same thing for the case in the case of the Queen Legion, as fans like to call it. The Queen Legion, you could see it has where the front legs are, as well as the two giant claws. That's where its arms are. And then for the back of the Legion, there's a second suit actor on wheels. Like he's laying down, and his legs are the creature's back legs, and his arms
Wow.
uh are controlling the two like grasshopper looking legs. So you got two actors facing back to back almost, controlling it. So I would say that this movie in particular really pushes what like the limit of what you can do with practical effects, with suitmation. With Gamera and Gauss, it's relatively easy to figure out, okay, arm, leg, leg. But in the case of Legion, you have these insectoid, multi-legged creatures that are not humanoid in any way, and yet they manage to find a way to make it work uh, with practical effects. So I would say that this movie is like a special effects showcase. You got wonderful suit acting, amazing lighting, beautiful sets, lots of explosions.
Yeah,
You
and
got animation thrown in for good measure.
yeah, and there's some snow in it too, and in a
Snow. Oh yeah,
winter
one of the
environment.
very few movies, kaiju movies, I would say that has
Yeah,
snow.
these yeah, and I like the soldier leashes. I thought they look cool. I mean, I know I hate spiders a lot, but this creature's more like a spider-looking creature, but this one kind of doesn't bother me at all. I mean, it's kind of a cool looking kaiju and all that. I mean, and what I know they came from the big meteor
Hmm.
and I'd say these legions, I know they attack and murder people, but I don't what we learned they were not really attack they didn't mean to attack the people. I think they want something that was they were on them. There's like electronics or something like full of life of and it's like the electricity of energy, something that they fed on.
Yes. What was it? They definitely they're the kind they seem appear to be the kind of aliens that would hop from planet to planet, uh, grabbing as many resources as possible, and then ultimately leave for the next planet once they have like drained it of its resources. Um, and what's also interesting is that this is much kind of like King Ghidorah. This is not an alien invasion where the aliens themselves are like of human or like superhuman intelligence. Rather, these come off as more like a biological threat. This is just like a wild animal, a wild colony of animals that has been set loose on the earth. And it's interesting that we don't really see that. We don't see that kind of depiction of aliens in the sci-fi genre outside of tokusatsu, I would say, where you really get a good heaping dose of monstrous animalistic style aliens.
Yeah. Eh, right. And let's so we already talked about the soldier legions
Yeah,
and I mean also I forgot to mention these soldier legions don't have any bones or muscles.
right, it's
There's
air.
just yeah, it's really air. Yeah, which is really strange.
Yeah, and
Kind
very imaginative.
I I guess you could call them balloon monsters. Get
Yeah.
it?
Oh, Laura made a great comparison, like the bugs from Starship Troopers. Yeah, this is basically Gamera versus Starship Troopers. Um, and yeah, and that is another great point to have, like animalistic creatures, very violent, multi-legged, pseudo insectoid type
Oh,
creatures.
I got a really good one. Which Lord frankly reminded me. I was just gonna bring this up. I mean, do the news network or called AOL? You know the AOL site. You know, when you
I definitely remember AOL.
yeah. So I wonder if that's the the nickname or short name for Attack of Legion. Get it?
I get it.
Yeah, because like the first word is attack, and then the middle is of, and then the end says Legion.
Hmm.
Both the begin starts with A, O, and L. So for sure, for Attack of Legion is AOL. I wonder they, I wonder if they just, I wonder if they how they come up with AOL. I mean, or was it before the trilogy was released?
I would say that's probably around the time that ADV released it and changed its name, because it's gone through a lot of names over the years. What was it? Attack of the Legion, Attack of Legion, Advent of Legion. Attack of the Legion, if I haven't already said that. There's certainly been multiple translations.
Yeah, I just thought that'd be a cool short name, a short title for it. LOL is that's Attack of Legion.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, shout out to Jedi Grandvel 8844 for joining us in the chat. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Hey, Walter. How's it going? And yeah, he's been on my podcast a few times, and we'll definitely have him back and someday. And
awesome.
So let's talk about the main villain in this one, the Queen Legion, or some people call it Mother Legion. I don't know why they call him the Mother Legion. I mean, I know Legion is the Queen Legion is a female,
right? And presumably, people can make the connection to like ant colonies, bee colonies, where obviously it's a female that is giving birth to the rest of its species in its group.
Yeah, that's why that's why she spread out a little soldier legion from her chest. I mean, this is so she is like a queen bee.
Yeah,
in this one, like kind of like Mechagodzilla is a female. It's the queen of the Meganula. Yeah, I mean, the Legion is one of the first kaiju colonies of represent those ant colonies and bee colonies. I have a hard time saying that name.
It's all good.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, she definitely has wings, but she was hidden them somewhere. I mean, I gotta say this Legion is kind of a cool kaiju looking. I mean, I gotta say when they're filming this, the suit is like big looking and almost big as the Destroyer. I mean, this thing is not CGI. It's just a big suit with people in it. Like
two
you said,
people.
Yeah.
One is standing up and the other one is lying down.
Yeah. I prefer the lying down because it would be more comfy to be in that suit.
I don't know, man. You have to lie down on what is essentially a board with wheels, and like you're constantly like moving your legs and like pulling two like you're moving two legs with your legs, and you're moving two arms with two cables. I don't know. It seems like a lot to do while laying on your back and trying not to fall off.
Yeah, I bet it's difficult to be in this Legion suit. I mean,
yeah, I remember seeing the behind the scenes featurettes on the ADV DVD, and I remember they showed footage of the two suit actors practicing with like a prototype suit that was still like see-through. It was just like a prototype suit meant to test the mechanics of the suit of the entire thing. And so it was kind of wild seeing the two of them having to work in tandem with one another, be in sync with one another, being like, okay, and action. And you can see both of them making like synchron, what do you call it? The same, like moving at the same time in order to make sure that the movements of the creature look natural as it was shuffling about on the set. I think they were practicing on the grass at first. So it was really exciting to see them sort of like piece together this creature, this new monster, with this technique that I've rarely seen even after a Gamera 2.
Yeah, and I think her back legs, like these parts, I mean, I think they use them separately. Like they use some these things for a prop in the scene where these things came out of the ground to stop Gamera from flying. I mean, the airport scene.
Oh yeah. Those ones were controlled by the second suit actor's arms.
And I don't know if there were two Legion suits for this film. I mean, one is this one, and then the other one lost her horns, and then loses her red laser.
Right, the laser whips. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there were two suits for it.
That's a good question. Unfortunately, I do not know. And the interesting thing is that rarely did I ever, like, at least when I lived in Japan for 6 years, I don't think there was ever a Gamera exhibition. I think recently, last year, there was a 60th anniversary Gamera museum exhibit that probably showed off a whole lot of props. But unfortunately, I have never seen a modern uh, um, a modern photo or a new photo of that suit. So who knows if there were one or two suits? Who knows if they actually survived?
Yeah, and I kind of like the one the I kind of like Legion when she lost her horns and releases her red laser whips at
Hmm.
Gamera. I mean, because she was all mad and all, and eh, and then for a moment I thought she was gonna kill off Gamera for that moment because of all of her laser whips
Hmm.
and but no, I like the part for that because Gamma releases his fireball chest.
Yes, that
Is
was really cool.
that he just collect energy
From the
all
earth.
yeah that all over the earth in just one blast at Legion.
Hmm. Oh yeah, it was an epic moment.
Yeah, and speaking of, let's talk about Gamera in this one. I mean,
Hmm.
his design, I mean, it was created by the same people who
Hmm.
designed for the first one. I mean, Gamera looks more designed and more awesome looking in this one. Kind of give it a little more serious.
Yeah, I noticed
Little
that they especially gave it a more skeletal design in the face, like the sunken in
yeah,
eyes.
like the face
A very bony looking face.
and the arms, the hands will look so different than this one, as you can
Yeah,
tell. And his hands and for this one, it kind of looks like they got that from the creature from the Black Lagoon.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, and because the hands are like fins and
Hmm.
they actually added the elbow claws for this.
Yeah, yeah.
And remember, I mentioned earlier when we talked about the Guardians of the Universe when they were gonna have Gamera as flying fit fins, like
With like the sea turtle fins. Yeah.
yeah, they actually bought that for this film this time. And
Hmm.
yeah, for just the second film.
Right.
And I think
I would say that maybe of all the special effects, I think the one where you see the arms morph into the fins, that might be the weirdest looking special effect. Probably the one that hasn't like aged the best. But I'll at least give him an A for effort.
yeah, and Gamera is I mean I think they used two suits for this one. One is for action and one is for close-up shots.
Hmm.
Yeah, and also in the scene when all the soldier legions were trying around Gamera, they're all over him. Gamera's covered
Oh
all.
yeah, yeah. I really like that scene.
Yeah, the one part when the Legion were about to crawl onto him, I mean, Gamera and the Legion were all CGI.
Hmm. I
Yeah,
remember. Yeah, yeah.
I think this is like the first Gamera film that ever produced ever used CGI. I
Hmm.
mean, I don't know if they do the same thing for Guardians.
Let's see. If there was any CGI, I believe it was probably like early green screen, blue screen work, especially when it came to the final fight with Gauss and Gamera when they were flying into space.
It- yeah, and
Oh, and
yeah,
maybe the like the lasers and the fire effects. That's I want to say that's
yeah.
definitely computer animation.
Oh yeah, especially the laser ones. They're all CGI and all that. I mean, they brought back some new characters in this one. I mean,
Yeah, let's see, looking at my notes here. We had Midori, Watarase and Hanatani. They're basically all individuals. I want to say that they're all mostly involved in the military. And we'll have Ayako Fujitani, who's back as Asagi. Asagi, I believe she's one of the few returning characters. We have her. We have
Yeah.
Osako. We have Yukijiro Hotaru as Osako, who I mentioned before, had a cameo role at the very beginning as a security guard. And one person I did
Right.
not mention before is he's a background character, but he is a very important one, and that's Major Ono. Major Ono, he's like the main military character who
Yeah,
leads
I
the
guess.
charge. Go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta say he's awesome. I think I like his character.
Yeah. So he Major Ono, he leads the charge against the monsters in all three movies, and he is played by Hiroyuki Watanabe. And what's cool about Watanabe is that, and would not to be confused with the other Watanabe, um, Hiroyuki Watanabe, he's one of the few actors you could say who has worked in every tokusatsu franchise out there. He was another military character in GMK. He was who was he? He was in he was Kamen Rider Gao in the first Kamen Rider Deno movie. I forgot who he was in Super Sentai, but he was the main character's father in the original Garo series, whose character now has a spin-off movie that I'm involved in the Blu-ray commentary coming soon from Media Blasters. And let's see, definitely want to check out who was he in Super Sentai. Let's see. I'm probably forgetting right now, but yeah, this guy is pretty much involved in a lot of tokusatsu, and it is. I just wanted to make sure that, hey, you know what? Even though he plays a very small but important role, this guy has pretty much had his hands on a lot of Japanese material out there beyond kaiju. So I just think it's very cool for someone to have been involved in so much over the years.
Yeah. Oh, I also forgot to mention who played the Mother Legion. Is played by Shinom Misunashi Yoshiyanda. I hope I'm saying that correct. But he was but the guy who played Mother Legion, like he's the same guy who played Godzilla in GMK.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it, yeah, yep, and he played Mother Legion and Godzilla, and he also played Death Ghidorah in Rebirth of Mothra.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so far I known. And yeah, I mean, I think he was at All Monsters Attack convention in Rosemont, I think year back, but I never get the chance to take a photo with him because I was so busy. I mean, the other celebrities and suit actors and
No problem. Oh, he was also I forgot the actor I was talking about before, Watanabe. He was also the commander of the anti-kaiju force in Ultraman Gaia.
Oh, I never watched Ultraman before. I never watched the whole series of Ultraman, but maybe someday I'll give the series a watch someday.
Oh yeah, definitely go ahead. There's trust me, if there's one thing that I've learned from like the last several years of binging so much tokusatsu is that yeah, there is a lot of kick-ass tokusatsu beyond kaiju. I know we all have our biases, we all have our particular favorites, but I highly implore everyone out there to, there's always going to be Godzilla and Gamera out there and Mothra and all those guys, but when it comes to like superheroes, when it comes to like sci-fi movies, vigilante movies, alien movies, action movies, there is so much endless tokusatsu out there just waiting to be experienced by you. Whether it's Ultraman, Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, Metal Heroes, Garo, Zeram, Kikaider, Huckhider. There's so much out there that it can't pop, and a lot of it is getting more and more easier and easier to access, with official releases, with streaming sites like Tubi. There's just no excuse not to check out all this this awesomeness.
Yeah. And also, I noticed there was an actor in this one
Hmm.
who looks familiar. That I think he was in Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2,
Hmm.
uh, but I forgot his name. But he was in this one,
Sure.
but I forgot his name was. But he's the one who brought the egg back to Japan in Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2. He played a
Hmm.
professor in this one. He also played a professor in this one, but a different character,
Oh,
which I
that's cool.
forgot his name was. But if the audience know what the actor's name was, I mean, let me know in the comments below.
Hmm. Sure, sure. As for the human characters, I would say this is probably a step down for me from the first movie. I think they do a serviceable enough job, but I feel like the movie never gives us the time to really get to know them as characters. I feel like Gamera 2, in terms of its tone, it is a darker film, it feels at points, but it also feels a lot drier as well, where, like I said, it's just constant action. The plot is constantly moving forward, but you don't get enough time to for the characters to just sort of sit down, rest, and talk to each other like normal people. Rather, it's all business all the time. And because of that, I just always find myself having a harder time trying to know these characters or even remember their names unless I'm writing them down, like in this case. um Again, seeing the original characters come back is really cool, but again, when the best characters of this movie are the ones that you borrowed from the last movie, I think that kind of says something about the execution of the characters introduced here. And the fact that I don't think any of them came back for the third movie. And the third movie itself feels more so like the first movie. um
Yeah, wish we'll get to that,
Oh yeah, yeah, sure.
get to
But
that
I'm just saying that
soon.
for me, Gamera 2, as great as the story, the pacing, the action is, Gamera 2 always was my least favorite of the three movies. Only because it was not never as like, um it didn't capture my interest as much as the other two did. Like, Gamera 1 was already a super high bar, and Gamera 2, while still good in its own right, just I feel like missed the bar by a bit of a margin.
Yeah, and so I this yeah so there's yeah so there's a few things left for to talk about this one. I mean,
Sure.
it did release. Oh, it did release in theaters in 1996, which I don't know if you may have noticed, but this is my Gamera birth film.
Oh, the year you were born.
Yep, the year I was born,
Nice.
1996. Uh,
Unfortunately, I do not have a Gamera birth film because
what?
no Gamera movie came out in 1992.
Yeah, which I just noticed that
Hmm.
this year is the 30th anniversary of Attack of Legion.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep,
it's a
and
very
I'm
special year for Legion and for you.
yep, and I'm gonna be turning 30 in a few weeks.
Hey, happy early birthday, man.
Oh, thank you. Yep. I can't believe I'm getting old. I'm gonna be 30.
Hey, as someone who's going to be turning 34 in a few months, let me just tell you, you'll just get used to it. At that point, it's just you just feel like it's becomes less and less of a big deal as as you get older. It's like, another year, same troubles.
uh yeah, so yeah, it was and once again this one is another box office hit. It reached up to $7 million
Hmm.
and again it is also released in America on DVD by AD, ADV
Hmm.
Films on DVD, which they also did the dub for it. They did two dub versions for this one, the
Hmm.
regular dub, and they also made a second dub that's the same as they used the same dub, but they just redid some new lines, but they add some funny lines and make this
Oh
dub more
yeah,
like a comedy.
a gag dub. Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
Yep, that one's gonna. Yeah, I'm looking up on WinkyZilla. Yeah, that yeah. So yeah, the second dub is a gag dub, which
Hmm.
aka they said it in the Arrow Video Blu-ray menu. They say it's a comedy dub.
Hmm. Hmm.
I know. I prefer to call it a gag dub. Wish I never watched that dub version.
I did once a long time ago. I want to say that I forgot if it was Legion or if it was the first movie where they had like a blooper out reel take where they were just making like funny lines and silly accents. But yeah, Gamera 2 is when I don't know, it's kind of wild to me to think that there was a time when ADV just had the freedom to just make up their own special features which is something like this that has almost nothing to do with the intention. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the intention of the first movie, and it's
Yeah,
something that you really don't see again.
I only watched the outtakes of it, but I never watched the full film with the comedy dub. Which
Yeah,
I was
go ahead.
wondering, and I was wondering if they did that for like a mystery science theater style to it. But
It's hard to say. I'm really curious to know what the intention was, or like why did they make it? How did they make it? Who paid for it, and why? Because nowadays you definitely don't see anything like that for a
yeah,
modern release. Like rarely do Japanese movies even get dubs, unless it's like I want to say Shin Godzilla had an English dub. Minus One did, I think. Shin Ultraman, I don't think had a dub. Shin Kamen Rider definitely did not get a dub. And then whatever comes out of like Arrow or was it Shout Factory or I think like yeah, Shout Factory and Arrow mostly they don't do dubs. Discotech on a rare occasion they would make new dubs. Like what was it? The Digimon movies when they came to Blu-ray, they made brand new English dubs with as many of the old voice actors as they could. But
yeah,
again, Digimon that's a way more popular franchise, so
yeah,
presumably they had the money to do something like that.
yeah. And they also did the same thing for Criterion when they do release some of the Godzilla films on Blu-ray. That
Hmm.
Criterion only added some of the English dubs for the Shona era
Oh
film.
yeah. Well, that's another issue. It's like
Yeah, and they
mo-
didn't add the English dub for Biolante, which I don't, which is an unknown reason.
right, right. Like maybe it could be a rights issue, or maybe it's just more trouble for them to go out and find the dubs because the Japanese creators or the Japanese license holders do not keep the dubs. They're like, oh, if you want to keep the dubs, you find them yourselves. But
Yeah,
in cases like this, yeah, like not only are new dubs not produced, old dubs are rarely archived onto newer or preserved on newer releases. So
yeah,
yeah, the dubs are kind of like a dying art at this point.
yeah. I grown up watching English dubs for these type of kaiju films,
Hmm.
but once I got older, I mean, when I owned the Mill Creek Blu-ray of Gamera, there's no English dub for the Shona era. I mean, I did watch them with subtitles. I mean, I'm starting to get used to watching kaiju films with English subtitles in its original Japanese.
I mean, it's kind of like the same thing with anime fans. We've gotten used to just watching shows dubbed, watching shows subtitled now, that there's like a smaller audience who wants to see it dubbed.
Yeah. It's- Well, just a work. Yeah, I think that's just a wrap for Attack of Legion. Uh, I think we should get on to Revenge of Iris.
Let's get right into it.
Hmm, Yeah, yeah, so mm, so yeah, Iris is our last one. And 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 it's been almost 2 hours actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is our last the Heisei Gamera film, and yeah, we'll talk a little bit more. We'll talk a little bit about Revenge of Iris, and then we'll talk about some there are rumors and about the fourth Heisei Gamera film that was actually a short film.
Hmm.
Uh, it would, yeah, so I think I like. Yeah, I also forgot to mention that Attack of Legion was my least favorite Heisei Gamera film. I like Guardians and Revenge of Iris better.
Oh yeah, same for me. I think Gamera 3, I love Gamera 3, but I still think
Me too.
Guardian of the Universe, I still feel like is still my favorite of the trilogy. But I love what they do with 3, like in terms of story, pacing, characters, everything is just A's across the board. Honestly, this feels like the pinnacle, almost like the peak
And
of practical effects and again of kaiju storytelling.
yeah, and this film used a lot of CGI.
A lot, so much. I honestly, as a fan of Garo, I appreciate the use of CGI along with Tokusatsu because these are filmmakers who are experimenting with new resources that they didn't have access to before, or they're trying to do things that try to use practical effects when it's appropriate and when there's something that could not be done with practical effects, or they want to do it in a way, in a style that practical effects cannot do, they try out with CGI, such as
Yeah,
Iris's tentacles like flying all over the place. You still have some practical tentacles, but in cases where you have like wide shots, or cases where Iris is like flying in the air almost like with like a jellyfish angelic wings, like it makes
yeah,
sense to
that's
use CGI.
that's almost like inspired by this film, which I forgot it was called, but they had that special effects jellyfish alien that comes out of this.
Oh, Dogora.
I wonder
No,
they
not was
based
it
off of
Dogora?
that.
I think yeah, it was Dogora. I mean,
Dogora.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, let's see. When it comes to Iris here, from looking at my notes, Iris's adult form was designed with the intention of making him look graceful and beautiful to contrast his true dark motives. The scene of him
Yeah.
flying during the moonlight was inspired by the sight of a dancer in a kimono under the moonlight. Iris's
Wow.
legs are also tentacles that are formed into two large hooves, making up his legs. And yeah,
Wow.
despite the fact that it has a female name and the fact that a lot of Americans refer to Iris as female, according to like behind the scenes notes, it's Iris is intended to be male.
Yeah, but Iris is a female, right?
No, well, they intended him to be male. Um, what was it? Yeah. It is supposed to be a male monster.
Yeah, as you could tell, I mean, the way it looks and all that, I mean,
Yeah, it is meant to look kind of like deceptively like beautiful and graceful, but kind of like its appearance tricks you into thinking that it is far less sinister than it actually is. And
y-
again, it's a very unique approach to a monster design. Again, you got the blend of practical effects with the body, CGI effects with the tentacles, great use of electronics for the light up chest and head. Um, Much like with Legion, it's sort of a thing that you've never seen before. And I applaud Kaneko and Shinji Gucci and their team for trying to create something that no one has ever seen before.
yeah. I also forgot to mention when I mentioned the this movies had lots of CGI, especially the
Hmm.
fight scene with the fight in the sky. It's
Hmm.
almost it's almost like the CGI effects, the looks of it, almost like it came from a classic 364 PlayStation game.
Yeah, the CGI has not aged the best. Um, but again, for me, I applaud them for trying something new, for to try to create something that they weren't trying to repeat what they've already done with the last two movies. They're trying to like increase the stakes. They're like, well, we had a green screen fight with Gamera and the Gauss in the first movie, and arguably the green screening could have, didn't exactly age well either. So this was them trying to do something the same, another aerial fight, but trying to do it with a new, trying to approach a similar idea, but with a new style of execution.
Yeah, I mean, Iris is kind of a cool monster. I mean, I know it's male, and
Hmm.
the word came from Iris. It was named he was named after Ayana's cat.
Yes,
Wish I'm
that
a
is true.
wish I am a I wish I am kind of a cat guy myself. I like
Hmm.
cats. I used to have a cat, but he's gone a long time ago. If I would
Hmm.
have If I would find a kind of giant kaiju monster, I would raise it and name him after my cat.
Hmm.
Yeah, that would be cool. And yeah, so Iris is a cool monster, and then it started off. Iris was. They say that Iris was supposed to be a kind of a mutated Giles looking,
Hmm.
but isn't that right?
Yeah, I believe all of our the notes and research generally points in that direction, which again, I do like that much like with the first movie, it's kept very vague as to what it is. Like you don't need to know where it came from in order to understand the story. The story works without that mystery ever being solved. But the fact that there is a mystery there, that's that again, that what I mentioned earlier, that level of intrigue, that mystique to where it came from, why it was made. The characters, theorize that maybe it might be a mutated Gauss. Maybe it was created to fight Gamera if Gamera ever decided to turn its back on humanity. We're never given a straight answer, but the
Yeah,
fact that the movie tries its best to give us an idea of what it could be, I feel like was a really great way of building this villain up. And yeah, I do believe that through the research, it was meant to be a mutated Gauss. Though unfortunately, uh, I've forgotten exactly what its true purpose was, according um, to supplementary material related to this movie.
yeah, and also this monster was found in a temple or cave at Ayana was found and raised it, and
Hmm.
he first of all, before I get to more detail of Iris, I mean, I want to talk about the other main character named Ayana,
Hmm.
who actually a interesting character who actually hates Gamera
Hmm.
and who wants to get revenge on. And I know that some of the early Gamera films from the Shona has some kids liking him, but this is like the first Gamera film who has a character or a person who hates Gamera. Like
Hmm.
the reason why is because of the first film they during the battle with Super Gauss and because it, I know the one scene when Gamera was in the building and there's trembling down. I mean, they said Ayana's parents were trapped in there trying to evacuate, but during the fight with Giles, Gamera just tumbles down the building or that Ayana's parents were in,
Hmm.
and it shows it in the dream, uh,
Yes.
and Gamera looks so terrifying, frightened on the dream sequence. And what I heard, they used the same suit from the first film, but
Hmm.
and the scary head was replaced with the scary head that was in the dream,
Hmm.
but it was the same head they used in the second film, but added some more scary details on the face.
That is really cool.
Yeah, That's according to Winkyzilla.
Mm-hmm.
It Yeah, so I thought the Gamera suit in the dream sequence looks so cool, and but we'll get to Gamera a little later. Let's get back
Sure.
to Iris. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. I think also it helps that like Iris is such a how would you say, a devious monster, because and it's a very manipulative monster. It senses the hate that Ayana has against Gamera. Ooh, I gotta mention, I love the fact that we have a character that represents the consequences of giant monster fights. She hates Gamera for killing the monster. Everyone else says, "Hey, Gamera saved us multiple times now." But for her, while it's true, the fact that her parents are gone as a direct result of his actions, it's like you understand where she's coming from. Of course, she
yeah,
would hate the very person that turned her life upside down for the worst.
yeah.
Um,
I gotta say, Anana is such a a nasty girl because he just hates Gamera so much. He wants to get revenge because
but you understand
all
why
all be,
she
all
feels that
because of her
way.
parents were killed by Gamera, even though Gamera
Mhm.
didn't mean to.
Right, right. But that doesn't take away the fact that her parents are dead at the end of the day, and she misses them dearly. And I like that with Iris. Iris manages to um, to take advantage of her and her emotions, being able to form a bond with her in a sick, dark, twisted version of the bond that Asagi had with Gamera in the first two movies.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
and then
and
by the end of the go ahead.
also there was that one scene when Iris was growing and
Hmm.
yeah, because and then he kind of has like a onto Ayana, like he wraps her tentacles like around
Yes,
her. Yeah, I
right.
was, and then the camera just shifts out. I mean, it's almost like Iris is making out with Ayana. I was like,
I kind of see it as almost like a vampire snatching up its
yeah,
victim and
kind of like that.
draining them of their blood. Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of, also Iris has this ability to suck out the life or blood out of people and turns them into dead corpses.
Yes.
Which
In fact, I believe
and
the first victim that Iris eats, I think that was a famous model in Japan who had her cameo as the first victim of Iris.
yeah, that was Ayana's adopted family.
No, no, no. There was a hiking couple, I believe, in the mountains who were attacked by Iris before Iris attacks the village.
Oh yeah, I wasn't the. I think the Iris sucked out the life of of an animal.
Oh yeah, an animal, then the hikers, and then finally everyone in the village.
Yeah, and also those that the one girl and it was at the camp and
Yeah, yeah. It's again great use of escalation, of foreshadow and
I thought
escalation there.
I thought it was so awesome looking and it was a cool scene and like it's kind of like the when that happens of the some dead corpses Iris
Hmm.
turned them into and it kind of makes it's kind of like they it's kind of like they captured that from they try to recapture from the scene from the Return of Godzilla, aka
Hmm.
Godzilla 1985. You know the ship of Yahata Maru.
Hmm.
When when the chakras,
Oh yeah, yeah.
the giant sea louse, and they suck out the ship makes blood, and they turns them into dead corpses, and
Oh yeah.
that kind of makes me think of that scene.
I can totally see it. Yeah.
W-
Interesting note here is that
And
as a result, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt, and also it also kind of reminds me of the it kind of reminds me of the scene from the Brendan Fraser's The Mummy from
Mm,
1999, which was
hmm.
released in the same year that the
That's true.
mummy sucks out the life forms of humans and
Hmm.
becomes his true form.
Hmm.
Yeah, it
Very
kind of makes
true.
you think of that.
Yeah, yeah. And also, like, like going into the vampiric qualities of Iris, apparently as a result of absorbing human blood from the hikers and the villagers, that is why it starts out from a like a tentacle Pokemon looking baby form into its final form. It has a
Yeah,
very humanoid body that came from the DNA, the blood of the humans that it absorbed out later on afterwards. So like
yeah,
by
that's how Iris became his full form.
right, with two arms and two legs, it was copying like a humanoid form, and we see that copy
Now I
ability.
can, now I
Go
can
ahead.
see that with the arms and the legs, and yeah, I totally get what you're talking about. It was, yeah.
And later on, we see this copy ability again at the end of the movie, where once it starts absorbing Gamera's blood, then it starts to recreate the fire, like the plasma fireballs that Gamera normally performs.
Yeah, at the end of the film, but at when Gamma blasts off his own arm off, and it source the energy from Iris, and
Back into himself. Yeah.
yeah, I totally love that scene.
Oh, yeah.
Which we'll get to that later.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So let's talk about Gamera again. I mean, Gamera
Mhm.
design, it looks even more better detail looking. Just
Mhm.
look at it.
For me, this is my definitive, like my all-time favorite Gamera design.
Yeah, this is definitely my favorite too. Yeah, yeah, his detail looks so, yeah, so dark detail looking. Yeah, he's kind of like evolving from his cuteness, little cuteness look from Guardians
Mhm.
to Attack of Legion. It is like Attack of Legion. His look is kind of like looks looks between from Guardians and Iris, but when it got to Iris looks, he just looks so cool looking and more serious.
Yeah. Also a very interesting idea to, like, in order to show how much he's grown, they made his head smaller to make the rest of his body look larger.
Yeah, as you can tell, like his head was bigger in the first film, but in the last one, his head got smaller. Yeah,
Yeah,
as you can
I
tell.
like to think that the head, like in universe, I like to think that the head stayed the same size, but the rest of him just kept growing.
Right, and the arms look so, yeah, different looking, and
Oh, yeah, very wide
yeah, and
arms.
he still has those shoulder horns of him, but they look different.
Hmm.
And also, he has some horns on his back legs, but he doesn't use them for attack ability. He just use them.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so this is definitely my favorite Gamera suit. Also,
Excellent.
the also
And
the suit
that
has
is this. Go ahead.
also the suit's head also can rotate. It kind of tilts and
That's true.
mm,
And this is the suit where the we have the suit actor who was playing every single Red Ranger at this point in Super Sentai.
oh, I did not know that.
Oh yeah, so it was, who was that guy again? I had his name up last time on my phone. That was, let's see. Oh yeah, Hirofumi Fukuzawa. Hirofumi Fukuzawa, he was the, like I said, he was the suit actor who played every single Red Ranger from 1992 to 2012. And then afterwards, he graduated to become uh, a fight choreographer as well as a trainer for future suit actors in Super Sentai. So, like, in the middle of all of this, he was also Gamera for the third movie.
Mm, yes, that's cool. And so I want to talk about back to I want to talk to some of the characters. I know they brought back the same characters from the previous film, especially the ones from Guardians,
Yes.
like the bird girl and the guy who played the cop in the second film, and but he's
Yes.
back in this one, but he's homeless, like kind of you mentioned earlier.
Yes, Osako.
Yeah, and I'm glad they brought those characters back because they were my favorite, and also the girl who played all the films is back.
Oh yes, Asagi. Yeah.
Yeah, Asagi. This was her last role for the film.
I mean, her last time in the Gamera series.
The last time in the Gamera series, and
yeah.
Ayana is a new character. This who hates Gamera. We did mention. I like the ending that she commanded Iris to destroy Gamera. The cast. It's not just her we're talking about. There's also other characters too, like that crazy black hair guy.
Toru. Yes,
Toru, who the actor who plays him, he was also in a few films, like especially Shin Godzilla, and I believe he was in other films. Like wasn't he? I forgot what other films he's in, but I think he's a little crazy in this one.
Oh yeah. He's definitely a very interesting person. Where he is also he's the one that tries to his best to understand the purpose behind Gamera and Iris. I believe he was the one at the start of the movie where he and his team discover the various skeletons of Gamera living laying in the bottom of the ocean, and he's like, oh, these are the rejected prototypes of Gamera.
I gotta say that these are the skeletons of the graveyards of Gamera. They're just the prototypes.
Yes, because the Earth, because Gamera is powered by mana, and the Earth gave Gamera his mana, but the Earth rejected all these previous prototypes. Gamera was the only one that was ever fully brought to life because of the Earth, which is interesting. And again, it's them trying to understand the idea behind the purpose, the histories of these characters. Toru is almost suicidal by the end, where he doesn't care if the human race dies or if he dies. He is just interested in just seeing how this whole crazy Atlantean nightmare will play out for humanity. And we have his assistant, who I believe her name is Senri. Supposedly Senri is Atlantean herself, or at least she descended from Atlanteans. And so she is insanely jealous of both Asagi and Ayana for forming bonds when she feels like she should be the one to form a bond. And that's why she ultimately tries to, at the last minute, make a bond with Iris, only to be killed by that same monster.
Yeah, and Ayana has that little bee thing that says she
the
can...
Magatama, yeah.
Yeah, which is similar to the bee from Guardians, which is called Gamera. Yeah,
yes.
It's like they try to recapture and repeat from Guardians of the Universe. Now,
Ayana, for sure. It's like a dark mirror, a dark mirror opposite of Asagi and Gamera.
Yeah, and I'm surprised. I thought Ayana and Iris would be a bond friends, so they join as a team against Gamera, but Iris, it has a slight bond to Ayana, Iris just wraps her up in his cocoon.
Yeah,
I forgot the reason why.
I believe it's to use her directly as an energy source, similar to Gamera and Asagi. But Asagi, she voluntarily gives herself to Gamera, whereas here, Iris is forcing Ayana to be used as an energy source. Again, taking that sort of same concept and putting a dark twist on it.
Yeah, and it's so amazing how one of her friends just free her from the cocoon. And if you look
Hmm.
carefully at her bag, you see
Hmm.
some yeah tentacles on it, like on her bag, like some
Hmm.
yeah on her bag, which was attached to her. I mean, that was just so weird.
Oh yeah, yeah, but it's probably because yeah, Iris is like draining her of her energy, using
Yeah,
her like a living battery.
yeah. I also like the battle of the at the this in the when the
Oh yeah,
battle
in
took place
Kyoto.
in the building.
Yes, yes, in Kyoto Station.
Yeah, and then Iris is just use Ayana. It just bonds with Aya inside of Iris. This time against her will.
Yes,
Yeah,
a
it's just
great
so
scene.
weird. It's like he Iris trick Anna.
Oh, for sure. And then ultimately kind of like mocks her by showing her the death of her family, like you chose wrong.
Yeah, yeah. That Iris is actually betrayed Ayana.
Yeah. And then at the same time, showing her what really happened when her parents died. And you no longer see Nightmare Gamera. You instead see our version of Gamera fighting Gauss, like putting that extra content where it wasn't Gamera that maliciously just killed her parents. It was an unfortunate sequence involving him fighting the Gauss.
Yeah, it was just Gamma was just find the gals of it. That it was just an accident that Gamma had. I mean,
Yeah.
when yeah, and that and I love the part when Gamma just saves Ayana like, from Iris, and I this is kind of like in other movies. She was yeah she was like why like why he saved her
Hmm.
after what has happened.
Oh yeah, and I feel like this scene of him like willing to sacrifice his own arm just to save this one human life, I think that's what really solidifies Gamera as a completely different type of character from, say, Godzilla. Godzilla is meant to be a destroyer, someone who is there to put humanity in its place when they become too egotistical, unaware of their, or he's there to make them suffer for their own hubris. Whereas Gamera is a more hopeful character. Gamera is there to represent sort of like the positivity or the positive fact that humanity is worth preserving. Humanity must go on, and he is willing to lay down his life for the sake of others. He's a very selfless character. He is driven by that selfless nature, whereas Godzilla is driven by vengeance and rage. They're pretty much like opposites of each other, and so it is very appropriate that the movie ends the way that it does on this intentional cliffhanger that was never meant to be followed up on. Throughout all my research on Gamera 3's ending, it all leads to the same. I found the Kaneko's reasons for the ending very fascinating. I believe his words were that Japan in general, even though most Japanese people are raised on Buddhism, they are, for the most part, agnostic. They don't really believe in God. They don't believe in an, but they don't believe in God, but they don't believe that he doesn't exist. They just don't really care either way. And
Yeah,
I can speak for myself. I used to live in Japan. I've spoke to a lot of Japanese people of various ages, and I would talk to my adult students back in the day. I would say, so what is it like in Japan? It's like, if I ask you, does God exist? Do you say yes or no? They say, I don't know, because they just don't care. It's not an important part of their life. So for Kaneko, his idea was that because they don't, Japanese audiences don't believe in any sort of like, higher being, he wanted to put that kind of idea of faith and belief into Gamera, where when you leave Gamera, Gamera has one arm, he's completely drained, he's tired, but he's still going off to fight all the army of Gauss. And whether or not he wins
Yeah.
ultimately depends on you, the audience. And the idea is that he will win as long as you believe that he can win.
Yeah,
If you have
because
faith in Gamera, Gamera will come out on top. And that was sort of like the idea that Kaneko had for the audience's connection to Gamera, the idea of having faith in Gamera, as if, you know, like having faith in humanity or having faith in a higher power. It's the theme, the idea of faith. Like, you know, we have Ayana, who has faith in Iris only for Iris to betray her, whereas the rest of the characters have faith in Gamera, and Gamera ultimately backs them up all the way. So yeah,
yeah, and
I
that's
feel
why
I feel like
the
I feel
the
like that's, well, for me, I feel like that's what makes this movie truly unique and special. And I know some people are bummed out by the ending that it never gets resolved. For me, it's like, I think it's a brilliant way to end the series because it
yeah,
ultimately requires you to resolve it yourself in your mind.
yeah, and I was gonna say earlier that that's why the main character from all three Gamera films say, uh, that's why the main character in all three Gamera films it really believes Gamera because of
Hmm.
the bee that she bonds with him that
Yeah.
Gamera is the guardian of the universe. That's why she really believes in Gamera because Gamera's always there to protect the innocence of Japan.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and again, it's kind of like taking the idea that, you know, Gamera is a protector of the innocent. In the Showa series, he was the friends of all children. And this was simply Kaneko trying to take that same similar idea and trying to put a whole new twist on it, taking something familiar and make it feel new again.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and so before we wrap, before we get into the rapping part of this, I mean, there's one monster we haven't talked about yet.
Oh,
They,
Hyper Gauss.
yeah, I gotta say the gals in this film are look so much better than the Guardians one. I mean,
Hmm.
Hyper Gauss is I think it's like a cool looking Gauss than the one from Guardian of the Universe. I mean, this is not a rubber suit this time.
Oh no, yeah, it's a CGI suit, and
Yeah,
it looks really good, especially when the whole scene takes place at night.
yeah, especially at night. I mean the like from the beginning of the film, I mean the world is starting to rule by some different types of Gauss species,
Hmm.
and that's why they call hyper Gauss and
Hmm.
kind of like what they said at the end of Guardians of the Universe. If there are still eggs out there, it's ready to has that means there'll be more monsters
Hmm.
ready to hatch soon, as they
Oh
mentioned in
yeah,
the
yeah.
ending. That's why we have sequels, and that's why they brought back Gauss for the third film, but in Hyper Gauss. And
Yes.
this time, Gauss looks more batty than the Guardians one.
Yeah,
Just
yeah. And it has
yeah,
proper elbows this time.
yep, kind of like a normal bat, and
Hmm.
but he still has that little reptilish look to it a little bit.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Definitely a skinnier, more streamlined version of it. Less bulkier. Um, what was going to say? Oh yeah, in my notes, yeah. Apparently, as a result of Gamera draining the Earth of a mana from the end of the second movie, the Gauss are able to grow stronger because of there's a lack of mana everywhere on Earth now, and so because of Gamera's actions, Gamera, in a way, accidentally created the Hyper Gauss.
wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, what was it? Yeah, the Gausses mutated from negative mana levels, caused by Gamera stealing mana from the Earth in order to use the plasma cannon to kill Legion.
Yeah. And that's why in the end of Revenge of Iris, that's why there was a herd of hypergiles, and then Gamma is starting to go out and ready to attack, and yeah, at the end, which is blacks out or flames out the title at the end.
Yes, absolutely. And I think, yeah, it's, for me, one of the best endings ever of any kaiju film.
Yeah, I say that's like one of the best ones. Yes, yes. So like, I think they were just about to get to the
Wrap things
ending
up.
part. The part that, yeah, I think that is just about it. So before we wrap this up, I want to say that I love Gamera Revenge of Iris. I like the third film better than the second, and yeah, these are like the Heisei Gamera trilogy is like the best of the Heisei era.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. I feel like very few movies can even compare to the level of quality on here. Not even Godzilla. I'd say honestly, as much of a Godzilla fan as I am, the Gamera series of this time easily blows away the movies they were making of Godzilla at the time. There truly isn't anything unlike them, which I probably have already said before. And I don't think there has been anything of this quality in the kaiju genre since then.
Yeah. And yes, yeah, and then I mean, without this films, we would never had some perfect special effects people and the greatest director for the trilogy. And yeah, so and what I heard that there is even a short fan film that there's going to be a fourth Heisei Gamera film, which I forgot the title. It's called Gamera for something. Truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gamera 4 Truth.
Yes, by Shinpei Hayashiya, who would go on to create the Reigo Raiga trilogy with Deep Sea Monster Reigo versus Battleship Yamato, Deep Sea Monster Raiga, and Deep Sea Monster Raiga versus Lava Beast Oga.
Yeah, I just wish they would make a fourth film, but no, they just made it into a little short fan film.
Oh yeah,
that's full of really bad CGI. That looks like they took that from a PlayStation game.
Yeah, I still applaud them, the team, for trying to do what they could do.
Yeah,
with what little resources they had.
But there were some, but they did brought back the actor who was in the trilogy, who was the bird guy.
It was Yukijiro Hotaru. Hotaru.
I mean,
as Inspector Osako.
Yeah, they did bring him in this one.
Yes,
and I know this film was never made, but instead of made into a fan short film. I mean, they never show in public around as much.
Right. I think they were only allowed to show it once in, I want to say either it was in 99 or it was sometime in the early 2000s. They showed it once, and since then, the legally Shinpei Hayashiya was unable to show it anywhere else. However, I've been to conventions, I've been to G-Fest panels where he has been invited in the past as a guest, and he would show off news footage. He was, many years ago when the film came out, he was on a talk show, and in the talk show they showed clips of Gamera 4, and those clips are what you can watch on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
So it's a legal loophole where he cannot show his movie, but he can show clips of a talk show that showed his movie.
Yeah. I mean, I also forgot to mention there were some photo shots for this fourth fan Gamera film. I mean, that they actually use actual photo shots of the Gamera suit for this one. Yeah, which looks
Oh
so
yeah,
cool.
they
And
made a brand new suit that looked like the Gamera 3 suit, but it was green, it was, bigger, and required, 2 people to wear it at the same time because it
wow.
was so large and heavy.
Yeah, that would be more difficult.
Mhm.
Yeah. No wonder they use some crappy CGI effects instead.
But yeah, the suit was just way too big.
Yeah, and also like before we wrap this up, I want to talk about one more thing
Mhm.
that I know they made a little prequel story that Matt Frank did. I mean, but I think they also made like a little, uh, like a prequel and a half, a comic that took place after Attack of Legion and before Revenge of Iris.
Oh yeah, that's an official manga, yeah.
Yeah, that Gamma was supposed to fight
Fight Barugon.
Baragon.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's like, which is cool. I wish they could make that into a real film because Gamera
Mhm.
versus Baragon is one of my favorite Gamera films.
Oh yeah, I held the manga in my hands before. I bought it for at a used bookstore when I was living in Japan for a friend. I looked through it. The art was really great. I didn't like the ending though. The ending was kind of like it was all a dream, or is it? And that's kind of how it ends. But yeah, I would love to see that get translated one day. I'm surprised it still has never been not even fan translated. But then again, like the majority of Godzilla comic manga and Gamera manga, kaiju manga almost never gets translated. At least any of them like made before like 2010 or whatever. But yeah, I would say like I've skimmed through it. It looked really cool. I wish people could. I wish it was more accessible to everyone. In fact, I would prefer, honestly, I would have preferred Gamera versus Barugon, the manga, over them including the Dark Horse and Matt Frank fan comic
Yeah, yeah. I
because
mean,
I don't know. At least it's. I feel like it's more connected to the movies than that material that Arrow put out. But again, that's just my personal preference.
yeah, I'm glad I had the Arrow Blu-ray collection of Gamera. Instead, I did have the comic book that Matt Frank did, Gamera fights Garrett Shark, and I just wish they would have had the part where Gamera fights Baragon after the attack of Legion.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I just wish I. Yeah. So, and surprise, Andres. I mean, I think that's all. I think that's just about it. I think that's a
Yeah.
wrap.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's all she wrote.
Yep, and this episode is it's only a 2 hour and 43 minute episode.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is like the long. I gotta say this is the longest Gamera episode I ever did. Usually my Gamera episodes from the Shona era only an an hour or 50 minute
Mhm.
episode. Yeah, but this one is long. It's because we talked about all three films.
Oh, yeah, and then some.
Yeah, including some of the backstory of that.
Exactly, yeah, yeah. It was definitely there was definitely a lot to dig into, and, I'm very happy to be a part of this.
Yeah. And for the first time ever, I did not bring up about how we first discovered this film. These films. I mean, because I always, like I mentioned in my other episodes, I always bring up how do we discover this from our childhood?
Oh, yeah. Well,
Like,
I did bring up that I saw the first movie from renting it at Hollywood Video, and then I saw the other 2 through the ADV
mm,
DVDs that I had to import from the UK
yeah,
because they were so rare at the time.
yeah. And the reason why I didn't bring up about how we first discovered is because I don't want this episode to be too long.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, I would like to bring it up, but I would say that for another time.
Sounds
Eh,
good.
Yeah, and then I want to thank you, Andres, for joining me in this episode for the Heisei Gamera trilogy. I'm glad I did this episode in one of a triple feature film. Yeah, that's something I never done before, and man, doing all this research gives me a headache, and I did my homework, and yeah, that's everything I know so far. Yeah, and I want to thank you again, and thank you all for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more podcast episodes coming soon. And surprisingly, up next, it will be my last Gamma Film podcast episode. And just in time for its 20th anniversary year, next up, it will be Gamera the Brave from 2006, which is perfect time for its 20th anniversary year. Yeah, yeah, and stay tuned for that coming soon. And like I say in Japanese, Saranawa.